Hi all, it's Correne from Spiraea Herbs and Snail Trails Homestead. I'm about to head into my medicine wheel garden to harvest some mullein for medicine making. I hope you can join me and learn about this amazing plant ally. So this is the mullein that is in my medicine wheel garden. Mullein, Latin or botanical name is Verbascum thapsus, and it is a biennial. So in its first year, it's only going to produce a rosette of these fuzzy looking leaves that sometimes people mistake for burdock. And it's only in its second year that it will actually produce a flowering spike like this one. And so I'm going to be harvesting this plant today for both tincture and for making ear oil. So I'll get a close-up look. There's a lot of traditional information about only harvesting the flowers, but when I went to school to study herbs, my teacher strongly recommended harvesting both the leaves and the flowers, as most plants have medicine in all of their parts, and that using the entire plant in this way produces a more well-rounded medicine. So that's what I will be doing today, and I'll show you how I harvest it. And like I said, there's a lot of traditional information about only harvesting these pretty little flowers right here. But you ask 100 herbalists how they do things, you're going to get 100 different answers. So this is just how I do it, and then I'll talk about its medicinal properties as well. So when I harvest mullein for tincture, I actually take the entire flowering spike, and you want it while it still has some bend and movement in there. You see that? Once it becomes rigid, it's not really something that you want. And I'll probably take from about here and up, leaving all of this portion down here. My goal is to make just 500 milliliters of tincture today. I don't use it that much in clinic. Mostly I use it because it's a really great febrifuge, so it's a good fever herb. Really tasty for young kids, so it's easy to get into them, and it's also a really good relaxing expectorant, so I'll use it a lot in respiratory formulas. So I'll take a large portion of that flowering spike and one large basil leaf, and usually that's enough for my medicine making needs for the year. When it comes to making ear oil, I do harvest more flowers, and thankfully I have a couple extra mulleins on the property where I'll get some more flowers. And so I'll probably wait a few days to do that. I also don't have any olive oil right now, so I might have to hold on that project. But because mullein is such an amazing topical vulnerary, it's going to help heal the tissues in the ears. And when I make my ear oil, it's one of the ingredients I really like to use because it helps reduce inflammation and heal the tissues. So because mullein is such an amazing topical vulnerary, it also makes a great plant to infuse into an oil for making salves. It would be really good for a healing salve for things like cuts, bites, scrapes, stings, including mosquito bites and all types of things. Because the basil leaves are extraordinarily fuzzy, they would be a bit too irritating. Oh, I got blurry there for a sec. They would be a bit too irritating. Let's see if that helps. There we are, I'm back in focus. They would be a bit too irritating to use as a poultice. So a poultice is when you actually take fresh herb material, chop it up, mix with a bunch of water or a little bit of water to form kind of a paste, and then apply it directly to a wound. But because mullein is really, like I said, really fuzzy, it would be very irritating to an open wound. And so we would prefer to infuse it in an oil for topical preparations, or you could make a strong tea from it and then make a compress. So that would mean more soaking a washcloth in the herb material and then putting that washcloth on the wound. So that's those are the areas for me where I use mullein the most. Again, in clinic, I use it in respiratory formulas, especially if whatever respiratory ailment is accompanied by fever. And then topically, I infuse some in oil, and I always make some in olive oil for my ear oil. And the ear oil is good for treating ear infections in little kiddos. So that is a little bit about mullein, Verbascum thapsus. I hope next time you see this growing in a ditch, you have some more appreciation for its amazing medicine. Thanks so much, and have an awesome day, guys.